Welcome, my name is Tolly Bryn. This is The Joy of Awareness. Today I wanted to talk about our favorite topic, responsibility, once again. There are two reasons for this. A, I really wanted to just dive back into the topic of responsibility because I understand that it is probably the most important concept to wrap your head around if you are trying to heal yourself. And B, because I've realized that I have not been taking full responsibility for myself and for my life, especially in the last half year or so. And just kind of wanted to free flow a bit on this topic because I understand that for healing, specifically for healing any kind of physical issues through fasting and a simple diet, like I talk about in all my videos, taking full responsibility for yourself is going to be what makes or breaks any healing journey. And the reason for this is that, contrary to popular belief and what medical dogma would have you believe, you are the only person that can actually heal yourself. You are the only person that can actually do the work required for actual healing of the body. Now, you may be able to get all kinds of drugs, all kinds of ointments, various kind of treatments. You've got all kinds of gurus and doctors and quacks that you can go to, but nobody will be able to heal you. If you're lucky, you'll meet somebody who can push you in the right direction, who can tell you, kind of what you need to do in order to start feeling better. But we're not really that interested in just feeling better, are we? We're interested in actually healing ourselves. If you watched my other videos, you will know my own healing journey. Like I've told you about it in many of my videos and in my books and on my website. So if you haven't seen any other of my videos or any of my other videos, then I'd highly recommend that you go and check those out. I kind of by accident discovered the key to healing when I was at my absolute lowest point. I was in a really bad place. I had severe autoimmune issues that were just preventing me from being able to work, being able to socialize, being able to exercise. I couldn't do anything really. Like I was everything just felt so desolate, and I was incredibly depressed and incredibly anxious in life. And that despair, honestly, was what pushed me to take full responsibility for where I was. I'd done enough research and looked around enough, read enough anecdotes to understand that there was a huge correlation between my diet and my symptoms. And I tried all kinds of various different things, all kinds of diets, all kinds of regimens, and I dabbled in fasting here and there, a few like 2-day fasts. Did a juice fast at one time, but never really anything serious. And at this point in 2019, I was at the end of my rope. I just couldn't go on. I couldn't keep going the way I was going. I knew I was getting sicker. Despite all of the stuff that I'd been trying to do, I was still getting sicker. I was getting worse. Despite all the doctors that I'd been going to. I'd also been to like naturopaths. I'd tried all kinds of different things myself, mostly like in the form of supplements. I'd been buying all kinds of different supplements, and some of them would give me a little bit of respite for a short amount of time, but nothing like in the long run actually helped me. And it wasn't until this point, the summer of 2019, that I finally just sat down and was just like, okay, if I just stop eating, if I just stop eating trouble foods, maybe that'll help. And like intuitively, I understood that there was something wrong viscerally, just deep within me, within my digestive system. And it turns out that I was right. And as I have explained in other videos, I jumped right into a 10-day fast. And during that 10-day fast, I felt 100 times better. I was like 70, 80% cured right after those first 10 days. And subsequently, I changed up my diet. I made sure to be highly aware of the foods that I was eating after that fast to make sure that I wasn't getting worse again. And as I started refeeding, I started realizing like, oh, okay, so some of these foods, especially like fruit and vegetables, they're really making me flare up and make me feel really bad. So I just cut them out. I cut them out completely, started eating, like, for a period of time, I ate only Greek yogurt and chicken, if I remember correctly. Started eating really heavy, protein and fat heavy foods, especially animal products, and started staying away from all plant-based products at all. That's what worked for me. It doesn't mean it'll definitely work for you, but that is what worked for me. And I did that intuitively. It wasn't a regimen that I found online or something like that. I just tried to simplify things as much as I could. And simplicity is another one of those keys that you really, really need to understand in order to heal yourself. But anyway, after that summer, I was completely cured. I felt so much better. Everything was better. I had gotten incredibly emaciated and skinny during the course of the summer because I'd been fasting so much. But as I came out of the summer, my entire body was just renewed, and my skin was completely healed. My skin had been definitely the worst part of my autoimmune issues. I had been flaky and red all over, oozing sores, itchy all the time, couldn't sleep because I'd wake up every half an hour just scratching myself to a bloody pulp. And it was terrifying. And I had a lot more autoimmune issues that I was dealing with as well. Some, or most of them quite a lot less severe than that, but still, like, I was dealing with really, really bad allergies, some sort of arthritis kind of thing. Just everything was going wrong in my body, and just getting out of that through that miracle of fasting just gave me a whole new life. And I was amazed. Like, and I came into a new mode of being. I felt like I'd been given a second chance at life, and I really started to live differently. I really started to exercise a whole lot more. I got out into the world a whole lot more. I got rid of my smartphone and started just interacting with people more. I met like a really attractive girl that I dated for quite a while, and even though things didn't work out and things actually became quite toxic as time went by, and I think for the most part the toxicity came from me because even though I had healed myself physically, I was still hanging on to all kinds of weird dogma and weird ideas. And honestly, probably I went a little bit cuckoo from all the years of chronic illness, and that's definitely something that can happen, I think. And now, a few years later, I can see it for what it was. But back then, I felt so manically ecstatic, blissful that I was healthy again. That I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing, or what I was going after. That's not to say it was all bad. Absolutely not. Like, it was mostly good, I would say. Like, I got healthy. I was able to finally do the things that I wanted to do again. But at some point, as time went by, I kind of lost that drive. I kind of forgot that I'd been given a second chance, or that I'd given myself a second chance. And somehow, some way, I just kind of fell into, derp mode. I started derping. I started just floating along, not really living my life the way I knew it should be lived, not really living aligned to my values. And, you know, I'm ashamed to say, like a year or two went by before I finally just kind of realized this. And I feel like I'm still kind of pulling myself out of it right now, but really, like, it was scary when I saw it. I was like, what? But I fasted. I did all that stuff, that crazy stuff to get to get healthy again. Like how could I have let myself fall into this state of despair again? This sort of half-life of derping. By the way, I love that word derping. It's just so apt for exactly what I'm trying to talk about here. Just kind of going through life on autopilot is what I mean. Maybe that's not exactly what derping means. I don't know. I just that's the meaning that I have ascribed to it, at least. I was going through life on autopilot. I had stopped kind of thinking for myself, and for in some ways, in many other ways, I was completely changed and completely conscious. But in some ways, I was just, there's no better way to say it than I was just shirking responsibility. I was shirking responsibility for pursuing the things that I knew would make me happy in life. And there's no excuse for that. There is no nobility in that. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about responsibility in this video. I realized that I have not been taking responsibility for myself. I've been making decisions more or less every single day that keep me from becoming the man that I want to be, that keep me from creating the life that I want to live. And this is a sin. This is a really, really bad thing to do. I have various visions and ideas of what I want my life to look like, what I want myself to look like, both in character and physically. When I say physically, I'm talking mostly just about the fitness. You know, I like to work out, I like to look good, and I'd kind of let go of the responsibility for that as well. And I have all these ideas, I have all these visions. I even have the tools to make them happen. But for some reason, I'm holding myself back. And what I realized was that what I was actually doing was, I was just basically blaming other people. I was finding other people to blame, who I was trying to put the responsibility of my own life on the shoulders of somebody else, whether or not they did me wrong, whether or not they caused me pain or suffering. It's really beside the point, because if you take the responsibility for your life and you put it on somebody else, that'll just suck you dry. That'll take away your drive for life, because, you know, even if another person is actually to blame for where you are now, they probably don't see it that way. And even if you do manage to make them see how they did you wrong and make them be prepared to make amends, nothing that they will do will get you to where you want to go. The only way for you to get to where you want to go is when you say, okay, I accept that there were people in my life who did wrong by me. I accept that there were events in my life that may even have ruined my life, that may have ruined me. This is certainly what happened to me with my illness. But you can decide, and it is a decision, you can decide to make your life about what you want to manifest, what you want to create, rather than making it about who to blame, who hurt you, like who is it that's supposed to save you? Like, is it the government? Is it your parents? Is it your uncle? Like, whatever it is, you're wrong for putting responsibility away from yourself like that. And I say you're wrong because it doesn't serve you. It doesn't help you to get where you want to go. I have this beautiful vision for myself, for where I want to go, for what I want to do in my life. I want to travel more. Like I traveled a lot when I was younger and saw lot of the world, and it helped me to mature in ways that I otherwise probably wouldn't have done. But you know, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've hardly traveled at all. And there are many reasons for that. And I made a conscious decision not to do that because I wanted to build something in one place for a change. But now I'm feeling, you know, I've set stuff up, I've set up systems here in my home country that will keep going after I'm gone, hopefully make me a little bit of money, and that'll be awesome. And I'm getting ready to go out in the world again. I've got Mexico in mind. I'd love to go to Mexico. I speak decent Spanish, and I think I would just really enjoy it there. It'd be awesome. And I just want to go there and just kind of meet people, perfect my Spanish, you know, write. I want to write more books. I want to make more videos, and I want to take it to another level of quality and value. And that's really what I want to do. And I want to take this to such a place where it just kind of spirals and snowballs into this huge, amazing, valuable, energetic pulse of existence where my life becomes a vessel for value for other people, where I can just create and create and create and build some kind of massive monument to the human spirit. That's really what I want to do. And it's a long-term thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But I realized that I'm doing myself a huge disservice by not looking at the things that I'm doing that are holding me back. I recently decided to stop drinking coffee and caffeine in general because I realized it's a drug, and I was doing it every day. I was doing it many times a day. I was drinking coffee after coffee after coffee. And it's a crutch. It's a mask. It's something to hide behind. It's something to hide your pain. Just like sugar, just like pornography, just like, you know, if it was heroin or crack or weed or alcohol or cigarettes or gambling or social media or reality TV, like whatever it is, you know, Netflix binges. These are all ways to avoid reality, to avoid your feelings, your emotions that have probably been repressed and suppressed within you, and avoid it for God knows how long. Certainly was that way for me. And I've got various vices like that I would run to whenever things started getting a bit overwhelming. And somehow I realized just recently, like, Tolly, you actually have the power to just stop. You know, you do know that, don't you? And I'm like, what? No, that's ridiculous. I can't do that. I'll go into withdrawals and I'll feel bad, and and it'll go badly. Like I won't be able to concentrate, and people think I'm dull and boring because I don't have the coffee to keep me going. And then I was still like, yeah, but you can still stop. You know, you can stop, and you will feel better. And in the end, I said, okay, yes, that's true. That is true. I can do that. And that's what I did. Stopped coffee. It's been like a week now, maybe a bit more. And the first day was pretty tough, let me tell you. But after that, it got better. And I've quit caffeine many times in the past. Usually do like a Lent fast where I skip all caffeine for like 6 weeks. So I think that's something that really helped with the withdrawal symptoms. So I've heard of people having withdrawal symptoms for weeks, just feeling really bad, sleeping badly, insomnia and lack of energy and lethargy, all this stuff. But I really just had it for one day, and then the day after I was like, oh, okay, I slept way better tonight. And like tonight, I went to sleep at like 10 o'clock, woke up at like 5, and just had like a pep in my step. And I was just like, well, I really slept well last night. It was really good. That wasn't the way it was when I was waking up, and the first thing I would do is just like, oh, I'm gonna have myself a coffee, and I drank the coffee, I'd feel a little bit better. It's like, oh, bleary-eyed and all this. Like, no, now it's different, and that is a decision that I made, and that was a decision to break the pattern of decisions that I'd been making for like a year or something. That pattern of decisions being deciding every day to start the day with an artificial energy boost. And that really catches up to you. It may take some time. For me, first, like, coffee was bliss. I must admit, I love coffee. I love the taste. I love the social aspect. I love how it makes me feel sometimes, not always. But I can love those aspects of coffee without it becoming a crutch. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't have to be a crutch. In the same way, you can love sex without being a sex addict, or you don't have to seek out porn just because you love looking at the human body, for instance. It's not that you can't enjoy things. It's that you shouldn't make them into a crutch. You shouldn't allow your addictions to run your life, and I'm afraid that was something that I had been doing. I could say the same thing about sugar. I'd started to just really let myself go with sugar, and I was feeling the effect in my body. Caffeine, sugar, pornography, like, same thing there. When I came out of my fasting summer of 2019, I was feeling so much better, both in mind and body. And part of the reason for that was because I also cut out my smartphone completely during that time. And way into like November, I wasn't really using my smartphone at all. I was listening to all kinds of different podcasts and doing all kinds of things, but I had like a dumb phone which had the capacity to play music and stuff, which I was using for the most part. And I had stopped using pornography completely. I'd stopped all masturbation, all pornography, and I was just living in a sort of blissful state. I had a lot of, like, way more energy than I'm used to, just to go out and do things, exercise, build muscle. I started, my website and my channel at that time, if I'm not mistaken. I started doing all kinds of things, talking to more women, talking to more people in general, simply because I had that power, that sex drive again. And I had never really realized just how much it had been affecting me. And even now, I'm thinking, just as I was thinking with coffee, I'm thinking like, Tolly, you actually have the power to just not do it. You have the power to not do it. And I'm like, what, are you crazy? Like, I can't not do it. I need to do it. Like, how else am I going to calm myself down? How else am I going to feel better when things go wrong? How else am I gonna, hide from the feelings that bubble up incessantly if I don't, like, hide them behind some kind of stimulation? And I was like, yeah, that's all true. That's all true, but you can still just stop. And I'm like, oh, you do have a point there. And I was right, like, I do have a point there. And the point is, I can stop. I can stop all the things that are holding me back. Addiction is a problem of emotionality, I think. That's kind of the conclusion that I'm coming to. And I've taken a lot of time and a lot of energy into really understanding what lies behind addiction. Obviously, I don't have any experience with, like, drug addictions or hardcore alcohol addiction or anything like that. I'm talking mostly about, like, behavioral addictions and some substance addictions like coffee and sugar and pornography. I think those would be my main 3 vices that I've dealt with throughout the years. What lies behind them? And it's the same root behind all 3 of these, for me at least. It's that ever since I was a kid, I had a difficult childhood, and as a child you don't have the power to counteract the bad forces around you, let's put it like that. You're just a small kid. You don't have the brain power and you don't have the physical power in order to stop people who are doing wrong by you. And there are various mechanisms that the body and the mind uses in order to hide away those feelings that you're just not mature enough or strong enough at the time to deal with. And as time progresses, like for me, for instance, I would seek out pornography and masturbation as a soothing mechanism to soothe myself, to self-medicate, basically. It might just as well have been marijuana, it might just as well have been alcohol, and honestly, I'm quite thankful that it wasn't those things, even though I absolutely loathe the effects of pornography. I think if I had been stuck in any other kind of addiction, things would have been a lot worse. But the thing is, you use these things to hide from difficult emotions. That's what's going on. For me, it's the shame, it's the pain, the grief of not having people in my life that needed to be in my life, for people in my life as a child who were hurting me, and the shame of just not being good enough to be loved. For me, that's basically it, I think. I'm still working on figuring out exactly what it is, and in the end, it doesn't strictly matter that I know exactly what it is. What matters is that I become open to feeling it and releasing it in that way. That's the way to release it. And I feel like I've taken quite a detour from talking about responsibility. Or no, well, actually, no, I haven't. I think, yeah, I've just, my thinking has evolved quite a bit since I started this channel. So it's gone from focusing specifically on physical health to a much sort of wider spectrum of things. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good evolution and a good way for things to evolve. And anyway, I won't make this video any longer than it has to be. I've rambled for quite a while now. If you enjoy my stuff, if you enjoy what I'm talking about here, if it gives you value, if it makes you think about life and about your health, and if it helps you to heal, which is my main purpose for starting this channel, if it helps you to heal, then please like and subscribe, help other people to heal as well. Check out my books, Health Simplified, Mind Reclaimed. They're both on Amazon. They're both great books. They've gotten great reviews. And check out my website as well, joyofawareness.com. Got some interesting articles on there that you'll probably like. Comment down below if you want me to talk about any specific topic, or if you want to talk to me directly. We can do like a one-on-one. I've been helping out a few people that way with their health, with their fasting, all that stuff. I'll do it totally pro bono. I'm not charging anything here. I just want to get a conversation started and to help you guys in any way that I possibly can. That being said, I love you all. Just take care of yourself. Take responsibility for your life and for your health. I'm telling you, it sounds kind of brutal, but it's the way forward. You will thank me later on once you have thriving health, the thriving health that you deserve. See you next time. Peace.